There's a chance that he's not even
because you was doing what? You was doing the same thing I was doing.
You know what I mean?
Get out of here, bruh.
You call at 10 and he's there.
Yeah,
the landlord's at the house at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
And you
put
know why,
together
Your
beds
Honor?
and stuff.
You know why,
Put
Your
together
Honor?
beds.
You know why, Your
Put
Honor?
together the beds.
Yeah.
This case is the definition of messy. Mr. Wiseman let his good friend move in with him, and how did the guy repay him? By allegedly sleeping with his girlfriend. Now, 2 years later, there's a child named Brett at the center of it all, and nobody knows if the dad is Wiseman or his own roommate, Mr. New. Even Judge Lake can't believe the betrayal brewing here.
Mr. Wiseman, you say the defendant was a good friend of yours and you let him move into your home. You claim he repaid your generosity by sleeping with your girlfriend.
Wiseman explains how it all went down. He says while he was asleep upstairs, Mr. New and his girlfriend were downstairs talking. That talking turned into sneaky behavior, splashing each other with water hoses, sitting too close, and basically acting like a couple. The family finally told him straight up they were messing around. His face while retelling this, equal parts anger and humiliation.
I would go to sleep, and I didn't know that my cousin was going to sleep early, and they would be downstairs, just him and her. She would be telling him problems that me and her was having, and then just like she did with his cousin.
When Judge Lake asks how Wiseman found out, he admits someone in her own family came forward with the truth. Imagine hearing your girlfriend's relatives expose her like that. He had suspicions, but he didn't want to believe it. Turns out denial only lasts so long before receipts come crashing down. You could feel the betrayal dripping off every word.
I had suspicions because, you know, like there'd be certain times like they wouldn't know I was coming over, and they'd be sitting there, like for instance, with a water hose all sitting there getting each other wet, all hugged up, and then when I would walk,
Mr. New jumps in, claiming he was just a friend at first. He only stepped in because Wiseman was mistreating her. He insists the relationship didn't turn sexual until after Wiseman had cheated multiple times. And yet, he's so protective, he won't even let her appear in court today because she's pregnant with his child. Judge Lake leans forward like, "Excuse me, what?"
Mr. Wiseman was not treating her right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you're very protective of her, so much so you would not let her appear in this courtroom today because
Yes, Your Honor.
she's pregnant with your child.
The arguments spiral fast. Wiseman calls Duncan, his ex and the mother of Brett, a serial cheater. He even accuses her of cheating with New's cousin. New claps back, saying Wiseman cried all the time and never treated her right. The tension skyrockets until Judge Lake has Jerome step in to keep them apart. Woo, you could cut that tension with a knife.
That was when me and her was already together.
No.
She was at her grandma's house. Lie again.
well, she likes playing.
She was at her
Hey,
grandma's house because they was already broke up because he cheated on her so many times and she was letting it go.
Then we finally hear from Ms. Duncan herself, joining via video since she's in a high-risk pregnancy. She admits it all. Yes, she slept with both men during the time of conception. And no, she didn't use protection with either. The audience collectively gasps. Judge Lake sighs. So you're telling me this baby could belong to either man? Duncan nods. Talk about a bombshell.
You have two men here who are potentially the father of your child. Can you please explain to the court the circumstances surrounding this situation and how you've arrived at this point?
Duncan confesses she told Wiseman first when she found out she was pregnant, even though she had been with New too. Wiseman admits he was happy but suspicious because of the rumors. Still, he stepped up, signing the birth certificate and being there throughout the pregnancy. He says proudly, "I was there." New interrupts, "Only for the pregnancy." The courtroom erupts in chaos again.
Mr. Wiseman, when she told you she was pregnant, did you immediately think it was your child?
I mean, I definitely was happy, but I had doubts, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, our relationship, you know, and then when I found out about him.
The men continue throwing daggers. New claims he's the one the kids actually called Daddy. Wiseman fires back. "They call you Dad because they're your kids, bro." Judge Lake raises her hands like a traffic cop, trying to calm the storm. But it's too late. This courtroom feels like a heavyweight boxing match.
Do they call
So
you
hold
that?
on, Mr. New.
And when Brett's old enough, I bet he does.
I bet he
does, because I'm the only one does anything
Because
for
if
him.
it comes,
Things take another twist when Duncan reveals she already has another child with Wiseman. Yup, these two might share not one, but two kids, while she's currently pregnant with New's baby. Judge Lake can barely keep track of this tangled family tree. Woo, what a mess, she sighs, fanning herself. Drama overload, folks.
Mr. Wiseman, you have an older child with Miss Duncan as well. So you and Miss Duncan potentially have 2 children
Yeah,
together?
which
and yet she's engaged to be married.
Just when you think the family tree couldn't get more twisted, New's sister-in-law, Ms. Prater, takes the stand. She's Duncan's own sister, and she admits she told Wiseman about the affair herself. Talk about betrayal from inside the house. She says if Wiseman is the dad, he needs to step up financially and emotionally. The courtroom gasps. It's family versus family now.
Ms. Prater, you are Mr. New. What relationship are you to Mr. New?
I am Amanda's sister.
You're Amanda, Miss Duncan's sister.
Yes.
What do you have to add?
I'm here to find out who the father is, because if it does come back Mr. Wiseman.
Judge Lake reminds them that legally Wiseman is already Brett's father since his name is on the birth certificate, but practically, it's New who's been there day to day. Duncan admits Brett knows Jeremiah, Wiseman, as dad, but also calls New by his nickname Ty. This poor child is caught in a name game that no toddler should have to play.
Is the father because he signed the birth certificate.
Sure.
And yet Mr. New is the person taking care of the child financially because he lives in the home with you
Because
both.
he can.
The arguing gets ridiculous. Wiseman and New even bet on what the child calls them. New brags he taught the baby to say mama, while Wiseman insists it doesn't matter. What matters is the DNA. Judge Lake snaps. While you all are betting, Brett is losing. And that line, straight facts. The audience nods in agreement.
None
Yeah,
when I come.
he-
Bet he wasn't
okay.
talking none when I come.
Okay.
Bet. I got him to say mom,
Bet,
mama,
bet,
all
man.
that.
We need to find out. That's
Finally, it's time for results. Judge Lake opens the envelope and delivers the verdict. Mr. Wiseman, you are the father. The audience gasps, then cheers. Wiseman promises to finally step up and do what he should have done from the beginning. New, frustrated, insists Wiseman won't, but Judge Lake shuts it down. Now that he knows, he must.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Wiseman.
Bet he don't do nothing about it.
Judge Lake closes with some wisdom for Duncan. Girl, you know you made this mess. Now you've got to be about the business of cleaning it up. And with that, she adjourns. The courtroom leaves with one truth. Sometimes betrayal comes from way too close to home. And in this case, it was right under Wiseman's own roof.
I'm not gonna come down as hard on you because, honey, I don't want you to get emotional. But girl, let me tell you, you know you made this mess and you have got to be about the business of cleaning it up.
This case is wild. A bishop in paternity court accused of fathering a baby with a woman nearly 30 years younger. Meet Mr. House, a pastor who insists he's just a man with manly needs. Ms. Webster says he could be the father of her baby girl. But here's the kicker. She was also seeing 2 other men at the same time. Judge Lake, already clutching her pearls.
Mr. House, you're a church pastor and bishop who may have fathered a child with a woman 28 years younger than you.
Pastor House paints the picture of tragedy bonding. He lost a child, she lost her mother, and somehow grief turned into connection. Next thing you know, numbers were exchanged and they enjoyed each other's company. Translation, it went from prayers to playtime real quick. But was it a relationship? Nope. He says it was strictly casual, a hookup, or in his words, a booty call.
It started with me leaving an assignment that I had in Jacksonville, moving to Buffalo, New York, to take on a new as a pastor. I'm a bishop, but I'm also a traveling pastor. But I'm also a man. I want to stress that right away.
Ms. Webster, though, says it all started at church. He says fast food. She says Bible study. He says burgers and fries. Either way, Judge Lake isn't here for the disrespect. When Pastor House actually calls her a hoochie, Judge Lake slams the gavel verbally. We not in Hosea chapter 4, we in paternity court, and in this courtroom, we respect women. The audience cheers.
It was supposed to have been like Bible study thing, but instead of that, it was like more, it led on to sexual, unprotected sex instead.
Things escalate when Mr. Miles Jones enters the picture, Ms. Webster's on-again, off-again boyfriend of 5 years. He says they started casual but caught feelings and made it serious. But here's the problem. He had no idea she was sleeping with the pastor at the same time. The look on his face? Priceless betrayal. Cue the dramatic music.
Please state your name for the record.
Andre Miles Jones.
Mr. Miles Jones. All right, we are here with Ms. Webster, and of course, we are discussing the paternity as it relates to little Emilion.
The men start trading jabs. Pastor House brags about his swollen bankroll keeping Webster's phone on. She laughs him off, saying he never gave her a dime. Judge Lake cuts in. Well, at least if you're the father, we know child support won't be a problem. The courtroom roars. Shots fired from the bench.
I think she's with me for money.
Well, how do you you think that when you never even gave me a penny?
Because things
sweetie.
could be, the things that I could do, I did. You know, she'll tell you
never
that her
did.
phone was off.
When it comes to pregnancy, Webster admits she couldn't even reach Pastor House. His phone was disconnected. She didn't tell him until months after the baby was born. His response? Her aunt had to call my bishop. The scandal goes straight up the church hierarchy. Even Judge Lake looks stunned. This drama went from holy to messy real quick.
And I never got a phone call from her. No,
So
that
the
was a
point
while
is,
after that.
you left the window open. If she really wanted to reach you, she'd be able to find
She
you.
would.
Meanwhile, Miles Jones recalls finding out the hard way. He showed up for a casual hookup and Webster hit him with, "I'm 5 months pregnant." His face went white. He asked if he was the father, and according to him, she said yes. But Webster insists she only said, "It's a possibility." Judge Lake shakes her head. Somebody's lying.
I came over on a regular hookup to go meet up with her. We was gonna go out, do what we normally do. And then she said to me, I'm pregnant. Really? I said, how long? She was like, I'm about.
Evidence time. Miles claims he signed papers at the hospital and that Webster gave the baby his last name. The birth certificate? Blank under father, but the baby's last name is Miles Jones. The whole courtroom gasps. Webster insists she didn't want to put anyone down until she was sure. Talk about complicated paperwork.
I haven't even seen the birth certificate, but I did sign some papers at Amelian's birth.
I told you that your name wasn't going on there because it was a possibility that you was not my baby father.
To his credit, Miles Jones has been there since day one, feeding her, rubbing feet, changing diapers. He even tears up saying, "I made sure she ate good." The audience softens, but Pastor House ain't buying it. Pointing out she was with 3 men, Judge Lake looks at Webster. "You realize you made some serious mistakes?" She nods in shame.
Seems like you're a little emotional now.
No, no.
What he's saying is true, is that correct?
Yes, it's true.
So he has been there.
He's been there.
Were you there when she was born?
Yes.
You even contact me if you was all happy family.
Judge Lake reminds everyone, being real about your choices is step 1 to fixing the mess. Pastor House admits he has reasonable doubt and doesn't want to get emotionally attached. He lost a child years ago and says guarding his heart is safer. For once, the bishop looks vulnerable. Even Judge Lake softens. That's honest.
You look at the nose, look at your nose. Oh, she's cute, she's beautiful, you're a handsome young guy.
And so, Mr. House, seriously, when you see the child, this beautiful baby,
Finally, results time. Judge Lake reveals the first bombshell. Miles Jones, you are not the father. His face breaks, but he bravely declares, "In my eyes, that's still my daughter." The crowd erupts in awes. That's loyalty right there.
it has been determined that Mr. Miles Jones, you are not her father.
But then comes the second test. Pastor House, you are not the father either. The courtroom explodes in shock. Webster quietly admits the truth. The real father is her ex-boyfriend. The bishop looks offended, saying an apology is long overdue. Judge Lake doesn't disagree.
It has been determined by this court that you are not her father.
Judge Lake wraps it up with one of her most powerful lessons. It takes DNA to be a father, but it takes love to be a daddy. She points out Amelia already has love in her life thanks to Miles, who vows to keep raising her. The audience wipes away tears. Messy or not, this child won't be left behind.
I don't know if you two want to continue to try to have a relationship, but most importantly, in this courtroom, we say it takes DNA to be a father.
We've seen plenty of drama in paternity court, but this one? A woman not only questions her child's paternity, she questions if she's even his mother. That's right. Ms. Winslow fears her baby was switched at birth, while Mr. Barlow insists the landlord is the real dad. Judge Lake nearly falls out of her chair hearing this twist. You can feel the courtroom bracing for a wild ride.
Mr. Barlow, you say your 8 kids look exactly like you, but the defendant's son, Jabril, looks nothing like you.
Mr. Barlow starts strong, claiming his other 8 kids all look just like him, but baby Jabre doesn't. He swears the timing doesn't add up, and while he was away, Ms. Winslow was spending way too much time with the landlord. Yes, the landlord. He says when he called, she'd hang up and claim the landlord was fixing things. Suspicious much?
Your Honor, I doubt these things due to the fact that during the time of Jabril's conception, I was away. You understand? And as I was away,
Your Honor. He was around enough for us to conceive.
Judge Lake questions the details, and the story only gets messier. Why was the landlord at the house at 10 p.m., apparently putting together bunk beds and fixing leaks? 10 o'clock at night though? That's not a landlord, that's a late night handyman special. You can see the smirk on Judge Lake's face. She's not buying this.
Clearly, if the landlord's going to repair something in the apartment, he has to be in the apartment. So if she says, I'm going to call you back because the landlord is here, and just because she wants to make sure he's fixing the right thing?
Ms. Winslow insists it was all innocent. She was stuck with 3 kids, no furniture, and no money after being scammed out of $2,000. The landlord let her move in basically rent-free until she got back on her feet. Sounds generous, maybe too generous? Mr. Barlow argues no landlord just drops rent from $2,500 to $300 without extra perks. Judge Lake nearly chokes.
Now, you gotta pay me $2,500 for rent, right? For what reason do I say, okay, you ain't got it, just give me $300?
This is what happened. When I moved into this apartment building, I had got duped by a crooked person.
And then, the furniture allegations. Mr. Barlow lists off couches, kitchen sets, and even a refrigerator the landlord supposedly bought her. Ms. Winslow denies it, but the courtroom buzzes with disbelief. Judge Lake points out the landlord seems to be doing a whole lot of manly duties, cue the collective side-eye.
Hold up. I'm taking $300 from you out of 25. I'm a businessman now, but yet you didn't just give me the other $2,200, but I'm buying you furniture.
Mr. Barlow ramps it up further, claiming he called her over 80 times only to be told, I can't talk, the landlord's here. 80 times. The audience gasps, and Judge Lake raises an eyebrow. Over 80 times? Talk about a man keeping receipts.
Hey, yo, you know what? We can't talk right now. Click. Hey, yo, I got the landlord here. Click.
You said over 80 times.
Over 80 times.
Ms. Winslow shrugs it off, blaming his insecurities. Then the cherry on top, Mr. Barlow describes coming home and finding the landlord crossing the street with his kids, buying them sodas and ice cream, even playing football with them. At this point, Judge Lake can't hold it in. That's a very nice landlord. The courtroom cracks up.
They like, he ain't a stranger, he the landlord. You know, they got ice cream and sodas. You know what I'm saying? And then I come home another time, they playing football.
But the baby's looks become the biggest issue. Jabray is very fair-skinned, and Ms. Winslow admits he doesn't look like either of them. That's when she drops the bomb. She wonders if her baby was switched at birth. Judge Lake's jaw drops. This is a first in this courtroom. You could hear a pin drop.
And so you feel like when you look at him, though, you don't see any resemblance?
Nah, he ain't me.
He doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow. So now that leads me to believe the only way that this baby is not this man's child.
Ms. Winslow explains everywhere she goes, people question if Jabray is hers. Strangers ask if he's Hispanic, mixed, or even adopted. She even researched hospital baby switching cases and claims 28,000 babies are switched yearly. Judge Lake looks stunned. The audience murmurs like they're in a true crime special.
Jungle gym jumping, and a woman, a Hispanic lady, sat there and she was like, is he Hispanic? Is he mixed or something? I did a research online.
Judge Lake steps away to double-check the results herself. When court resumes, she confirms Ms. Winslow is Jabray's biological mother with 99.9999% certainty. Relief floods Ms. Winslow's face. She finally exhales. That's all I needed to hear, she whispers. You can almost feel the weight lift from her shoulders.
So I needed to go back to my chambers. I needed to do some research. I needed to look through the results. I had to find the maternity portion of the results so that I could confirm whether or not you are in fact.
But Mr. Barlow won't let go. He insists the landlord's Colombian background explains why people say the baby looks Hispanic. Ms. Winslow, teary-eyed, fires back that she's been faithful for 11 years, even through Mr. Barlow's cheating, including having twins and triplets with other women. The audience gasps louder than ever.
And when you go places, people say the baby looks Hispanic, and Mr. Barlow is convinced that it's the landlord's baby because he's Colombian.
The back and forth gets absurd. Mr. Barlow jokes that Jabray even says padre in Spanish. Judge Lake shuts that down instantly. Speaking Spanish is not hereditary. The courtroom bursts out laughing, but Ms. Winslow is fed up with the nonsense. The drama is at maximum overload now.
You saying the child speaks Spanish
No,
too?
Your Honor.
Your
Honor, he doesn't speak Spanish. My son talk baby talk, like normal babies. Normal.
And what's the evidence you were going to present?
Apaga la luz here, go straight to the light switch and try to cut it off.
Judge Lake points out Mr. Barlow signed the birth certificate, making him the legal father no matter what. He nods but still eyes the results nervously. The courtroom goes silent as the envelope is opened. You could cut the tension with a knife.
I am his legal father right
And
now.
so you accept, well, yes, you are.
You understand
but what
what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying is you're also still questioning whether or not you're his biological father.
And here it is. Mr. Barlow, you are the father. Ms. Winslow breaks down in relief, whispering, "Thank you." The audience erupts, and Judge Lake delivers the final blow. You are the mother, you are the father. Now raise this child in peace. Talk about an ending. Tears, laughter, and closure, all in one.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Imagine showing up at your mom's funeral only to have a man come up, wrap his arms around you, and call you his beautiful little girl. That's exactly what happened to Miss Johnson. She had always believed Roger Johnson was her dad until that shocking moment. Today, she and her sister Melinda face the truth after 25 years of doubts. Judge Lake already locked in for the drama.
Ms. Johnson and Mrs. Davis, you are here in court today to finally find out if the defendant is your biological father.
At the funeral, Ms. Johnson froze in disbelief as this mystery man claimed paternity. Meanwhile, Mr. Johnson, who raised her, stood right there saying, "These are my kids." Can you imagine the emotional whiplash? One minute you're grieving, the next minute, your family tree is being rewritten in real time. Talk about a soap opera reveal in the worst possible setting.
At work, and that's how I found out that my mother had passed away. Now, the day of the funeral when I had walked in, this guy had walked in behind me and put his hands around me and asked me,
Turns out, Mama Johnson wasn't exactly consistent. Sometimes she told her daughters Roger was their father, sometimes she hinted at someone else. Even Mr. Johnson admits he knew she cheated while he was at work. The way he sighs as he recounts catching her in another man's apartment? Ouch. This poor man lived with suspicion all these years.
yes, Your Honor, him and my mother when she was alive told me.
And your mother, when
Yes,
she
Your
was
Honor.
alive, mentioned that.
Yes.
What did your mother say to you?
Melinda Davis jumps in with her own childhood memories. She recalls her mom pointing at a man working at a car lot and saying, "This is her." At the time, she didn't understand, but as an adult, the puzzle pieces clicked, and suddenly doubts made sense. Imagine carrying that confusion from childhood into adulthood. The pain in her voice says it all.
My mother used to take me to places like this car lot, and this guy used to work there, and she had me up in the front of the seat with her in the car, and then she looked at the guy and told him, "This is her."
Mr. Johnson then presents receipts, literally. Divorce papers showing their mom gave up her parental rights. He raised the girls alone, no child support from her, and despite all the doubts, he still stepped up. Judge Lake calls him a very resourceful daddy. I mean, this man even taught his girls about womanhood by drawing diagrams as a tattoo artist. Dedication on a whole new level.
Of divorce.
Yes, Your Honor.
It says the defendant, which was your mother at the time, will not pay any child support, she having given up all parental rights to plaintiff.
Ms. Johnson tears up recalling how her dad did the best he could. You can feel her gratitude, even as questions linger about biology. And then Mr. Johnson drops another heartbreaking detail. Their mother would only see them if he paid her. Yes, folks, he had to give her money just so she'd spend time with her own kids. The whole courtroom groans in disbelief.
For many years, Your Honor, and I loved my first wife. That was the mother of my children. But you know, and my children know, I used to pay their mother to see them.
Judge Lake asks the tough question, does he see himself in the girls? He admits Elizabeth, Miss Johnson, resembles him, but Melinda, she looks more like the man rumored to be her father. That stings. Melinda nods quietly, clearly hurt. The tension is thick. Everyone's bracing for what the DNA will confirm.
Physical attributes aren't everything.
Honestly, I see it in Elizabeth, but as Miss Davis, she resembles a lot of the guy that's supposed to be a father.
Things get even more complicated when Mr. Johnson recalls their mother once introduced Melinda to another little boy, claiming he was her half-brother, fathered by the same man rumored to be Melinda's dad. Melinda remembers it vividly. She was only 6 or 7. Childhood innocence shattered by adult messiness. Drama overload.
Her mother told her that was her half-brother or something, and that is also the same one that fathered the same guy that supposedly fathered her, fathered that child too.
Just when emotions are high, in walks their brother, Mr. Johnson Jr. He admits he sees his father in one sister, but not in Melinda. You can see his pain saying it out loud. Ms. Davis breaks down, and Judge Lake tries to soothe her. The family's love is obvious, but the doubt cuts deep.
Talking about the issues regarding their paternity. Tell me what you know exactly about the doubts surrounding their paternity.
There's a lot of doubts.
Then we learn the pain runs even deeper. Melinda admits she once denied her father entirely, even having another man give her away at her wedding. Mr. Johnson wasn't invited, didn't even know she was married. His face in that moment, pure heartbreak. Judge Lake's voice softens, acknowledging how devastating that must have felt.
And every man wants to walk his daughter down the aisle.
It's not good, Your Honor. It's not good at all. For a long time there, she had my number. She wouldn't call me.
But Melinda bravely asks her father for forgiveness. Through tears, she admits she was confused and rebellious. Mr. Johnson doesn't hesitate. He forgives her. He emphasizes that no matter what the DNA says, he's always going to be her dad. The courtroom collectively exhales, witnessing raw healing right before results even arrive.
I have done a lot of hurtful things to him, and I admit I have. I'm not perfect.
Your Honor, I forgive her, but you know, the main important thing here is what they gotta understand. I have 7 grandchildren.
Finally, it's time. Judge Lake calls for the DNA results, and the tension skyrockets. First up, Roger Jr. is confirmed to be Mr. Johnson's son. Relief floods the room. Next, results for Elizabeth. She is his daughter. The tears flow freely now. You can practically hear the weight lifting off everyone's shoulders.
And as to whether Roger Johnson Sr. is his biological father, Mr. Johnson Sr., you are his father.
But the big question is Melinda. After all the tears, doubt, and pain, Judge Lake announces, Mr. Johnson, you are her father. The courtroom erupts in applause. Melinda sobs, saying this finally closes the chapter. Mr. Johnson apologizes for ever doubting, and Ms. Johnson says it best. I lost one parent. I'm glad I didn't lose my last one. Heartbreaking and healing all at once.
Mr. Johnson Sr., you are her father.
This episode starts with pure heartbreak. Ms. Gates enters court saying her late son confessed on his deathbed that he was not the father of 2 children, Alexis and Nicholas. She's here to defend his honor. Meanwhile, the children's mother, Ms. Rebolt, insists the opposite. Her son is the father, and today's DNA results will clear her name. Right away, Judge Lake knows this will be one emotional roller coaster.
Ms. Gates, you claim that the day before your son's tragic death, he told you what you have always believed. He was not the biological father of the defendant's 3-year-old daughter, Alexis, and 16-month-old son, Nicholas.
Ms. Gates recalls the exact words her son told her before he passed. That baby is not mine. Her face shows the pain like it just happened yesterday. She believes he wanted her to know the truth, no matter how hard. Meanwhile, Ms. Rebolt shakes her head, saying he told her something completely different, that he claimed those kids as his, no matter what. The contradictions are gut-wrenching.
Of Nicholas. But yet he told me differently right before he died. He had told me that he didn't care regardless, that he felt in his heart that he was the father of.
Judge Lake presses deeper. Who's telling the truth? Ms. Gates swears she saw the sadness in her son's face as he confided in her, but Ms. Rebolt pushes back, insisting their relationship was rocky, and he only said what he thought his mom wanted to hear. The tension here, palpable. You can practically hear the courtroom holding its breath as these women defend their memories of the same man.
He really wanted to clear the air and let you know what he really felt deep down.
I could tell he was being very honest. I could see the sadness in his face when he told me that.
Then comes Alexis, the daughter at the center of this case. When she was born, she was darker complected than the family expected. Ms. Gates immediately suspected another man was involved. Meanwhile, Ms. Rebolt admits she had been cheating and reconnecting with her ex around that same time. Uh-oh. The math isn't mathing, and Judge Lake zeroes in like a detective solving a mystery.
What about Alexis?
When Alexis was born, Your Honor, she was very dark complected, and he had every doubt possible that she was not his.
The story just keeps twisting. Turns out Ms. Rebolt and Nicholas Gates' relationship was filled with breakups, cheating, and rebounds. They'd fight, split, and run straight to other people. Ms. Gates rolls her eyes hard, saying this was a pattern of chaos from the start. And honestly, she's not wrong. Even Judge Lake seems exhausted just listening to this back and forth drama.
The first thing I thought of, what is my
son doing with her? She's just crazy. She's outgoing and everything.
I'm just outspoken. I'm very blunt, and I get to the point.
Now comes the real jaw dropper. Ms. Rebolt admits she slept with her ex during the same time frame as Alexis's conception. She tries to brush it off by saying they used protection, but then admits the condom broke. Oh girl, that's not protection, that's a gamble. Judge Lake nearly falls out of her chair. If the condom breaks, you've exposed yourself. The whole room knew what that meant.
Alexis was his child.
Yes, Your Honor.
How close to that timeline did you sleep with your ex?
It was around the same time.
But wait, Ms. Rebolt doubles down. She says she even showed Alexis's baby picture to her ex, asking if he thought she looked like him. He said no, which she took as proof. Judge Lake side-eyes this so hard. Why would any man volunteer for 18 years of child support? A courtroom full of laughter bursts out. But Ms. Gates, she's not laughing. She's dead serious about clearing her son's name.
Why would he say yes? That's 18 years of child support.
That is the moment that alleviated all question in your mind?
Things only get messier with baby Nicholas. While pregnant with him, Ms. Rebolt admits she was living with both men, her boyfriend and another man she was sleeping with at the same time. And yes, sometimes even in the same house. Judge Lake's jaw drops. Both men? Same day? You could feel the secondhand embarrassment radiating across the courtroom. This is drama overload, folks.
To the point where I would even have Mr. Gates and the other man that I was having sexual intercourse with both staying in the same house together.
Despite the chaos, Ms. Rebolt claims she knew Nicholas was Gates' son the second she looked into his blue eyes at birth. She even named him after his father, but Ms. Gates isn't buying it. She says both sides of her family have blonde hair and blue eyes, so those features mean nothing. The back and forth about baby eye colors was like watching a genetics class gone wild.
I had 2 names picked out. I told myself when I would deliver Nicholas that I would know in my heart when I looked at him who the father would be.
And so when Nicholas was born, you looked at the baby and you said,
Judge Lake has had enough of speculation. She finally turns to DNA evidence. First, results for Alexis. The test, done with the grandmother since the father passed, shows a 98.6% probability of relatedness. Translation, Alexis is Nicholas Gates' biological daughter. Ms. Rebolt nearly bursts into tears, saying she just wants the kids to carry his name and know they were loved. Relief floods the courtroom.
Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased Nicholas Gates.
But then, the twist of all twists, baby Nicholas's results come back inconclusive. The relatedness percentage is 64.6%. Even Judge Lake is baffled. She's never seen numbers like this before and calls in Dr. Baird, the scientist behind the tests. The courtroom falls silent as he explains what it means.
A report with a result like this.
Is that good or bad, Your Honor?
For clarification, I want to find out.
Dr. Baird finally breaks it down. Alexis and Nicholas were tested against each other, and the sibling DNA test confirms with 99.99995% certainty they share the same biological father. Boom. Mystery solved. Both children are indeed the late Nicholas Gates' kids. The sigh of relief and emotion that swept through that room was overwhelming. Even Judge Lake had to pause, clearly touched.
Showed with a 99.99995% likelihood that Alexis and Nicholas do indeed share the same biological father.
The episode closes on a bittersweet note. Ms. Gates, heartbroken yet relieved, promises to step up for her grandchildren in her son's place. Judge Lake praises her spirit, calling her a light that clearly passed down to her son. Everyone in the courtroom wipes away tears, realizing this case wasn't just about DNA. It was about love, legacy, and the promises we keep for family.
Thank you.
You really do have such a lovely spirit.
Thank you.
And I agree with Ms. Rebolt. The children need you.
I am there. I love those babies.
And Ms. Rebolt, I'm hoping this result sets you on a better path.
I hope so too, Your Honor.